Without a doubt, Butcher is one of the few characters whose arc has progressively evolved, and sometimes devolved, but never remained static through the 4 seasons. He did start as a man who wanted to avenge his supposedly dead wife, who did ultimately die at the hands of her child, although it was an accident and not a murder. He then decided to honor his wife's dying request for the protection of her Supe son Ryan. However, Ryan ensured that Butcher lost his cool to become a monster who could go to extreme lengths to achieve his goal, which is basically the annihilation of all superpowered people from the boys' universe. Then there's the minor case of the sentient super tumor living inside of him. This peculiar situation begs the question, how far will Butcher go to achieve what he wants? Will he actually unleash an airborne virus to cause a global super genocide? Or a pandemic? Well, that's what we're here to find out. But first, let's understand the various aspects and events that surround Butcher, and how these influence and affect him in his decision-making. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. First things first, what's the virus? Well, it's the same virus that was designed at Godolphin and taken by Victoria Newman. They experimented on the likes of Sam to create it, a process that left many young Supes dead. It was later revealed that the virus in its most potent form could kill Homelander, but it would also become airborne, leading to a pandemic lethal to all Supes globally. Now that we've cleared it out, let's get to the juicy stuff. The Ryan factor. After Becca's death, Butcher wanted to honor her request and strive to keep Ryan safe, but not without trying to further his own agenda. You see, in order to protect Ryan from Homelander, Butcher, along with Mallory, wanted Ryan to kill Homelander. Now that plan was never gonna work out, because that would need like years of training for Ryan, and the show only has 1 season left. I guess Butcher and Mallory didn't know this. Anyway, when Ryan learns about the whole thing, he feels cheated and betrayed by the only 2 people in the world he could really count on. When Homelander unleashed his fury upon Ryan for staying in touch with Butcher and messing up the propaganda commercial, Ryan came straight to see Butcher. But this guy only wanted to use Ryan as a weapon. Additionally, Mallory, who Ryan saw as a grandmother figure, was killed by Ryan in a rage. Now that too took a toll on the child and he ran off. However, this pushed Butcher beyond his limits. Someone very close to him was killed. He lost his wife and Mallory to Homelander's son. Clearly, Butcher is done with trying to protect Ryan, who was the only reason why he was practicing restraint. Mallory's death just pushed Butcher 1 step closer to genocide, as he immediately went to the boys and took the Supe virus before killing Newman in front of her daughter. Lack of a moral code. When Butcher used Compound V, he ensured that he was throwing his moral code out of the window. Now he's the most potent weapon against the Seven and Vought, and maybe even stronger than Starlight, who recently dialed her abilities to 11. Why? Well, Butcher has nothing to lose and is willing to sacrifice himself for what he believes is the greater good. So I wouldn't be surprised if he chose to use the virus, even if it leads to his death. The Kessler effect. When I say Kessler and Becca, I basically mean the V'd-up Supe tumor living inside Butcher. You see, the tumor gained some sort of sentience and is trying to mess with Butcher's head. It created 2 personalities in his mind. The first one is Becca, who implores him to remain calm and do things the righteous way, while the other was Kessler, who's been asking Butcher to hold no qualms for violence and bloodshed as long as Supes, and especially Homelander, were getting annihilated. Lastly, there was Butcher's original personality, which was basically a mix of both. It seems that the V'd-up tumor that Butcher had in his head has become kinda sentient and managed to convince Butcher to unleash the genocide. As of now, Butcher has given himself to Kessler and has decided to unleash the Supe Genocide, which is exactly what Kessler wants. In fact, in the comics, Butcher has done something of this sort. Yep, he killed 150 Supes in the comics, something that we've explored in one of our other videos. Season 5 will need to address this issue once and for all, and decide if Butcher is still redeemable. As of Season 4's finale, he's done some really nasty things, like cutting off people's legs, splattering other Supes, etc. If this streak continues, he wouldn't be far from becoming a mass murderer in the show as well. Do you think he will? So these were the 3 reasons that make me believe he could go ahead with Kessler's plan, but let's also look at some other factors that may change his heart. Kessler versus Becca versus Butcher. I also believe that Season 5 will see Becca and Kessler having a face-off in Butcher's head, a battle that Becca would probably win, which would lead to another change of Butcher's heart. Say what you will about Butcher, but he's essentially not a bad guy. Yes, his ways and means are extremely violent and often criminal, but he's not a bad person. In a struggle between Kessler and Becca, Butcher's psyche will play a crucial role, and he'll side with Becca. Now, if Butcher ditches Kessler, the tumor will probably kill him, but he would definitely go out with a bang, maybe while trying to kill Homelander, or while sacrificing his life for Ryan's, thus fulfilling the promise he made to his dying wife. This should fulfill Butcher's goals in addition to his redemption. But the question is, do we really want him redeemed? I think it would be better if Butcher continues being what he has become so that someone could take him down, adding to the shock value. If not for the weird and shocking, the show would not be what it is. I mean, all the redemption crap is for Marvel and DC, and The Boys is trying to mock them, right? So my fear is that The Boys would become the thing it's trying to mock. I hope I'm proven wrong. child with Maeve. They've time and time again mentioned the wild night Butcher shared with Maeve, and how he creamed her up. Yep, YouTube monetization is a witch. Anyway, Maeve was missing from season 4. It's possible that she conceived Butcher's child. If that's true, bringing her in season 4 would have meant revealing the child as well, so they chose to stay away from it. I'm of the opinion that Butcher gets to know about his son with Maeve, who would also be a Supe baby, much like Ryan. Now, this would change things drastically for Butcher, because he wouldn't want to kill his own child in a genocide. Getting the will and confidence to kill your wife's murderer, who also happens to be her son, is one thing, but killing your own son? That's something beyond Butcher himself, or so I'd like to believe. But you know what? We can't say for sure when it comes to Billy Butcher. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.